What's good, Panther Nation? It's your boy Myron McRae, aka Tornado McRae, across the skies of the internet, here with another episode of Panther Pride TV, your one-stop shop for all your Panther notifications and your Panther obligations. Happy Friday to all of you in Panther Nation. You made it another week. I'm glad you're still here. I'm glad you're still breathing. I'm glad you're still a Panthers fan. I'm glad you keep pounding. So you know what? Give him another one. Give him another one. Round of applause for y'all, man. You know, it's been a long week coming, but guys, we're going to get into today's docket. Hope y'all, it ain't going to be too much, it ain't going to be too long, but a few things have crossed my, what should I say, purview, so to speak. And so the first thing coming up to my mind is like, apparently did Dave Canales just reveal like Carolina's secondary plans? I don't know if y'all have seen this, but at one of the practices this week, Coach Canales was asked about the secondary and asked about the depth as well as adding to it. And when he was asked about the depth, here's what Coach Canales had to say, just in regards to how are we looking at both the corner and safety position. So, all right, there we go. So Coach Canales had this to say in regards to just the depth alone. He's like, Shamar, Akai is doing a great job. Corey Thornton has shown a couple of times and made some plays. So really feel good about the competition that's happening here. Charles Smith-Wade, of course, plays inside and outside, and he's having a really great spring, just carrying over schematically, and he looks great. And then to follow that up, obviously he was asked about adding a DB because that has been on the talk for Carolina this offseason. And here's what he had to say. He said, we're always looking, we're always open, always looking. But right now, I feel good about the group that's competing out there. Now, in my mind, and if I'm being honest, I think Dave is keeping something real close to the chest. I think he's trying not to reveal anything, especially when, like we saw earlier this week, or I want to say late last week. Earlier. It was one of these episodes, man. Y'all, some of these run together in my mind. But y'all know we were talking about assistant coach Darian Bates, who almost said something. He's like, I can't reveal this information right now, but something is in the works. And potentially, because of all the talk about adding a DB in Carolina, that may be something Dave is not trying to reveal yet. He's trying to keep that close hold. He's trying to be like, you know what, that's information only for us, and potentially for good reason, because if you reveal something like that, that may entice other teams to try and go and take the people that you want, or that may entice other teams to send, hey, we're going to give you a better offer. So then Carolina has to give up more assets for the player that they were looking for just due to supply and demand, things of that nature. So it makes sense as to why he would say, yeah, we're open, but I'm happy with the guys that we got. I think we're competing strong. I think we're doing a great job. Just coaching 101, knowing how to play the system, knowing how to play the game. And, hey, I'm not mad at it. I believe a DB will be added. I don't know if it'll be a safety or a corner. Probably more likely a corner than a safety. But I don't think we're going to see anything until at earliest maybe July, late June, maybe July. I think that's when, if they're going to make a move, that's when it'll probably happen. But don't quote me on that, guys. Y'all know the deal. I'm not in the front office. I don't know when things are going to happen. Next on the docket is something that's been floating around. I've seen it for a while, and I haven't really addressed it because I wanted to see how offseason really shaked out. But it's still a prominent thing that people are talking about. And the NFL sack leader might be a Panther soon. So according to David Latham of Last Word on Sports, he suggested that 3 teams could be in a trade for the NFL sack leader, Trey Hendrickson. Now, I know Last Word on Sports, they've had some articles I've read on here, and I'm kind of just like, I don't even know where y'all, personnel-wise, none of this makes sense. But hey, I was like, you know what, Trey Hendrickson, NFL sack leader, let's hear him out and see what he has to say, because I was just curious. And here's what they had to say. Said the Carolina Panthers haven't made the playoffs since 2017. Trust me, we know. But that could change if Bryce Young continues to develop. Hey, thanks. Look at the Bryce praise. The quarterback looked like the real deal down the stretch and now has a great offensive line and a potential star in top 10 pick Ted McMillan. However, if they want to win a weak NFC South, they must do something about the defense. Derek, wow, he misspelled Derek. The disrespect. Derek Brown's return should solidify the interior, and rookies Nick Scorton and Princely Umanmielen offer a long-term upside. With that being said, stealing Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals will give this team a proven elite option at one of the game's most important positions. I'm going to say this. On the surface, the basis of that argument of, hey, add to the run defense, which we all know was historically bad last year, add to your run defense, that gives you a better chance to win. That's not a lie. That's not a lie. I can't sit there and say he lied there. So, objectively, from that standpoint, he has a point. He has a valid point. And it usually would make sense to try and go get the NFL sack leader. That usually would make sense in most cases. So I can't say that's wrong. However, it doesn't make sense for us to get Trey Hendrickson. And here's the reason why. It's not to say Trey Hendrickson ain't a baller. Because let's be real. Look at the numbers, bro. Last year, in 17 games, man had 46 total tackles, 33 solo tackles, led the league with 17 and a half sacks. This second year in a row, he had 17 and a half sacks. That's the crazy part. And he had 2 forced fumbles. But, bro, 17 and a half, literally the second year in a row, he had 17 and a half sacks. And last year, that put him at second, only behind TJ Watt. So he's had 17 and a half sacks the last 2 years. That is phenomenal. That, honestly, ended up giving him his first team All-Pro. He was second in DPOY. He was a Pro Bowler. The man is a baller. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. But that's where the issue comes into play. Because if y'all been following that situation, he's been trying to get a payday from the Cincinnati Bengals, who for some reason as a franchise just never want to pay their players. I don't know what's going on over there. But he wants a payday, and he deserves a payday after what he's done. Listen, he deserves that payday. But that's why I don't think this makes sense financially, because Carolina just paid their players. They just paid JC. We getting players coming in. We just opened up $18 million in cap space. And a player like Trey Hendrickson is going to want more than $18 million. Like, shoot, his 1-year extension was $21 million. And to trade for him as well, because he did so well as the sack leader, Cincinnati's going to want a boatload to get him off their hands. So not only financially are you putting us in a bind, but we're also losing a lot of assets in the process. And that's not good business. And then secondly, from a personnel standpoint, it doesn't make sense. Here's what I mean. At the DN spots, because Trey Hendrickson plays as a defensive end. That's what he's listed as. At the DN spot, you have Derek Brown coming back, and you have Tershawn Wharton. Those are your starting DNs right now. So you have them. Then, if you want to, because we run a 3-4, if you want to put them as an outside linebacker, essentially, or an edge rusher, there you have Scorton, Wonham, Pat Jones, Umanmielen, and DJ Johnson. Why would we go out of our way to get all of these individuals just to bring in and trade in for Trey Hendrickson? We got all these individuals and we're under budget, but you want to give all that up to get Trey Hendrickson. I'm not saying Trey Hendrickson is not a baller and not worth it. I'm not. But I feel as though we've achieved a good balance of talent and depth as well as remaining in budget, and we can still go add other pieces. And I don't want us to blow it all on one individual. That's just my 2 cents. I get Trey Hendrickson does his thing. I get Trey Hendrickson is one of them ones, and I concur. But if we have to give up a boatload of assets and then break the bank as well to get him, it's kind of it kind of hurts. It kind of hurts in a sense. That's just my 2 cents on the situation. I could be wrong, guys, and I will admit if I am wrong, but that's where I stand on that. And lastly, for today's Friday episode, I want to talk about something just makes me feel good, makes me happy, man. So brotherly love is set to take place in week 1. If y'all don't know, if y'all haven't put two and two together, if you live under a rock or you just don't follow football, and this is your first time watching this video, hi. Hope I'm entertaining you. But week 1, we will see brotherly love as it will include the newest family showdown between the ETN brothers of Travis and Trevor. You know, Travis is running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we just drafted his younger brother, Trevor Etienne, with the 4th round pick. And so Trevor was asked how he feels about it and going into this matchup. And here's what he had to say, man. I love this. He's like, as soon as we found out the big news, we were already excited about playing each other this year. And then to come to find out that it will be week 1, it's even more exciting. We all can't wait. And of course, you know Ma Dukes, his mom's is so happy to see both her boys on the field, and so she had to start preparing for the game. Here's what he had to say about mom getting her preparations right. He said, that's definitely all she's been talking about so far. After finding out she's adamant about getting this split jersey done for the game. I think she got in touch with Amon-Ra St. Brown's father to see how he did it. We were at the NFLPA, and I think she was able to get in touch with him at the premiere. And I think she was able to figure out how he did it and get some pointers and tips on how to handle it, on how to get this split jersey. First things first, if Mama Etienne gets that jersey, I need that photo. I want to see that photo. Her, Travis, and Trevor, I want to see that photo 100%. But I love stories like this, and I love seeing brothers being able to achieve a lifelong dream like that. Because, as a brother, sometimes when you want to do it with your best friends too, cousins or anything like that, you talk about getting to the NFL together, NBA together, Major League Baseball, MLS, or any other major sport that you play in the world. You talk about this so much. And then when you're officially able to do it and you can highlight it on the highest stage, the platform that you've set, like this has been y'all's dream from day 1. Yeah, we're both going to make it. We're both going to get out of here. We're both going to be on the stage, and we're going to look each other across the field and be like, yeah, that's my dog. Like, that's my brother. We are here. I loved it. I love the Amon-Ra St. Brown. I love the St. Brown brothers doing it. I love when the Watt brothers did it. I love the Kelsey brothers. I love the Manning brothers. Like, I always enjoy that because that is a family affair, and it just shows how good it just shows how big this game can be. But it also shows the work in that not every time you have to leave people behind. You can bring your brother. You can challenge and push your friends, and y'all can achieve a dream together. You can always achieve a dream together. It's kind of like how in Sinners, Stack was telling Smoke, I ain't doing this without you. This is the way forever. Like that's what I picture. Like, it's like, bro, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. But guys, that's all I have for today's episode. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell at the bottom because you need to always be informed of when I drop these videos, man. Next, comment below. How do y'all feel about Canales' response in terms of DB depth? Do you think he's keeping something close to the vest, or do you think we're not adding anybody? 2, do you believe Carolina should add Trey Hendrickson, or do you think, kind of like me, it wouldn't be worth the haul in the long run? And 3, are y'all excited for the ETN Bowl in week 1? I know I am. And everything in between, because at the end of the day, guys, what do I know? I'm just a skinny brother with 2 tats. Peace. Much love to all of you. Take care. Later days. And as always, Panther Nation, keep pounding. I'll see you next time.